When the power goes out, most people realize something terrifying. A tiny power bank isn't going to save the fridge. Candles aren't going to keep a CPAP machine running. And that cheap gas generator sitting in the garage, it suddenly feels loud, messy, and honestly, outdated. That's why solar generators have exploded in popularity. They're silent, safer indoors, and some of the newer models are powerful enough to run refrigerators, microwaves, routers, and even entire emergency setups for days. But here's the problem. The market is flooded with overpriced junk, underpowered batteries, and emergency generators that barely survive a weekend camping trip. Some charge painfully slow, others sound amazing on paper until they shut down under heavy loads. So in this video, the focus is on the best emergency solar generators for home backup that are actually worth spending money on. From compact backup units to serious blackout-ready power stations, these are the models that stand out in real-world use. And trust me, a few of these completely surprised me. After comparing charging speed, battery lifespan, real appliance testing, portability, and overall value, these are the 7 solar generators that make the most sense for emergency home backup in 2026. Some are built for apartments, some are perfect for RVs, and a couple of them are powerful enough to become a serious alternative to traditional gas generators during blackouts. Starting off at number 7 is the LiPower Portable Power Station, and honestly, this one feels like the hidden underdog of the entire list. On paper, the specs look pretty standard. A 1075 watt-hour Life PO4 battery, 1200 watts of output, and a 2000 watt surge. But once this thing gets used in real-life situations, it starts punching way above its weight class. This generator is perfect for people who want a reliable emergency backup without dragging around a gigantic 70-pound battery monster. It can comfortably keep essentials running during outages. Mini fridges, CPAP machines, routers, laptops, fans, lights, even a coffee maker in the morning. And during testing, one of the standout features was the insanely quiet cooling system. Under 30 decibels. That's quieter than most household fans, which matters more than people think when the power goes out at 2 a.m. Now here's where things get interesting. LiPower included a sub-10 millisecond UPS function. That means if the grid fails, devices like desktop PCs or medical equipment stay powered without interruption. A lot of cheaper generators claim backup functionality, but they still allow enough delay to shut electronics off. This one doesn't. And compared to something like the Jackery Explorer 1000, the LiPower actually wins in long-term value. The LIF EPO4 battery lasts dramatically longer, often surviving over 3,500 cycles before major degradation. That's years of additional use. But it's not perfect. The biggest downside is expandability. What you buy is what you get. No external battery support. And like most LIF EPO4 units, charging below freezing temperatures becomes a problem. Still, for homeowners wanting dependable emergency backup without overspending, this thing is seriously impressive. At number 6 is the EF EcoFlow Delta 3 Classic. And this is where the competition starts getting serious. EcoFlow has built a reputation around one thing: speed. Ridiculous charging speed. And the Delta 3 Classic might be one of the fastest charging solar generators anywhere near this size category. This thing can hit 80% in under an hour. That changes everything during emergencies. Imagine a storm warning hits. The power grid starts acting unstable. Most generators need half a day to recharge. The Delta 3 Classic can go from nearly dead to emergency ready while people are still boarding windows. The 1,800 watt output also makes this unit way more capable than most compact generators. Smaller models struggle once appliances start stacking together. But this one can run kitchen equipment, coffee machines, routers, TVs, fans, and even smaller microwaves without panicking. One feature that deserves more attention is the bifacial 220-watt solar panel. Most panels only collect direct sunlight from one side. This one captures reflected light too. Snow, sand, concrete, even bright rooftops can improve charging efficiency. That sounds gimmicky until a cloudy day hits and every extra watt suddenly matters. Now here's the catch. EcoFlow's software ecosystem is fantastic, but the classic version loses one huge feature compared to higher-end models. No battery expansion. And for long blackouts lasting several days, that limitation becomes noticeable. Still, this thing absolutely dominates for people who prioritize fast recovery times. Apartment owners, suburban homeowners, remote workers, campers. This is one of the easiest generators to live with day to day because it feels modern, polished, and incredibly responsive. At number 5 is the Anker Solix C2000 Gen 2. And this is where portable generators start entering serious backup system territory. This thing is an absolute beast. A 2,048 watt-hour battery paired with 2,400 watts of continuous output means this generator stops behaving like a camping accessory and starts behaving like real emergency infrastructure. Full-sized refrigerators? Easy. Power tools? No problem. Electric grills, sump pumps, microwaves, portable AC units? This thing handles them confidently. But the craziest part is the recharge speed. A full charge in under an hour for a battery this large feels borderline ridiculous. Most competitors in this category still take several hours minimum. That difference matters massively during unstable power situations where electricity comes back temporarily before disappearing again. Now, obviously, there's a trade-off. This unit weighs around 67 pounds. Nobody's casually carrying this across a campsite, which is why Anker added heavy-duty wheels and a telescoping handle. It literally rolls like luggage. And honestly, that design decision saves this product. Without wheels, portability would become a nightmare. Another major advantage is durability. The entire chassis feels rugged enough for contractors, RV users, and disaster-prone environments. Compared to something like the EcoFlow Delta 2 Max, the Anker feels tougher physically, even if EcoFlow sometimes edges ahead in app features. But here's something buyers need to understand. Large generators create a dangerous illusion. People assume bigger automatically means better. Not always. If someone only needs emergency lighting, internet, and CPAP backup, this could be overkill. Massive capacity also means higher cost and more storage space. Still, for families preparing for prolonged outages, this is one of the strongest all-around options available right now. At number 4 is the Vtoman FlashSpeed 1500 bundle. And this thing feels less like a generator and more like a survival system. The big selling point here is capacity. With the expansion battery connected, this setup reaches over 3,000 watt-hours. That's enough power to survive multi-day outages far more comfortably than smaller generators on this list. Now here's why that matters. Most people dramatically underestimate how quickly power disappears during emergencies. Running a fridge overnight sounds simple, until the battery drains faster than expected because lights, routers, charging cables, fans, and small appliances keep stacking together. That's where the Vtoman shines. Endurance. And then there's the V Beyond technology. This feature is surprisingly clever because it allows the generator to handle appliances technically rated above its normal output threshold. Space heaters, kettles, hair dryers, devices that would trip smaller units can often run safely here. But the feature nobody expects is the jumpstart capability. Yes, this generator can actually revive a dead vehicle battery. During storms or evacuation scenarios, that's the kind of feature people suddenly become extremely grateful for. Now the downside. Charging both battery units takes noticeably longer than premium competitors like EcoFlow or Anker. And the interface feels basic. Functional, but basic. No flashy smart ecosystem. No premium app experience. But honestly, some buyers won't care. Because what Vtoman offers is simple. Massive backup capacity for the money. And for extended blackouts, that becomes incredibly valuable. At number 3 is the Bluetti Elite 300. And this might be the smartest balanced generator on the entire list. A lot of high-capacity generators become bulky, awkward, and frustrating to move around. Bluetti somehow managed to cram over 3,000 watt-hours of battery capacity into a surprisingly compact frame. That alone makes this thing stand out. The 2,400 watt output means it can run serious household appliances during outages. Refrigerators, power tools, medical equipment, microwaves, TVs, even some portable air conditioners. And unlike massive industrial-style generators, this one still feels manageable for RV setups or van builds. One area where Bluetti absolutely excels is portability relative to capacity. At around 58 pounds, it's dramatically easier to move compared to many competing 3 kilowatt-hour systems. Now, let's talk about charging. This thing is fast, extremely fast. With up to 2,300 watts of AC input, it can recharge shockingly quickly for a battery this large. That's critical during rolling blackouts where electricity might only return temporarily. And the included solar panels make this package especially attractive for long-term off-grid backup. The ability to continuously recharge during extended outages adds a level of security gas generators simply can't replicate without constant fuel runs. But there's a catch here too. Heavy loads trigger noticeable fan noise. In a garage, that's irrelevant. Inside a small apartment or van, different story. Also, unlike Bluetti's modular AC series, this unit doesn't support expansion batteries. Some buyers may outgrow it eventually. Still, for balancing portability, power, charging speed, and overall efficiency, the Elite 300 is incredibly difficult to beat. Coming in at number 2 is the Jackery Solar Generator 1000 V2. And honestly, this is probably the easiest recommendation for average households. Jackery has spent years becoming the safe choice in portable power. And while some hardcore enthusiasts criticize the brand for being too mainstream, there's a reason these things sell so well. They're incredibly simple to use. No learning curve, no complicated setup, no confusing app ecosystem. Just plug things in and it works. The upgraded LiFePO4 battery is a huge improvement over older Jackery models, finally giving users the long lifespan modern buyers expect. And despite weighing under 24 pounds, this generator still pushes 1,500 watts continuously, which is enough for a surprising number of household appliances. One thing people consistently underestimate is portability during emergencies. Smaller generators get used more often because they're easier to grab quickly. That's where the Jackery dominates. Need emergency backup for internet, phones, lights, fans, medical devices, or kitchen essentials? This thing handles it beautifully. And the 1-hour emergency charging mode is incredibly useful when storms are approaching. Instead of planning an entire day around charging, users can top this thing off fast and stay prepared. Now, the trade-off is expandability. Again, no modular battery support. And compared to EcoFlow, the port selection feels a little conservative. But for families wanting dependable backup without diving deep into the portable power hobby, the Jackery remains one of the best plug-and-play options ever made. Now, before revealing number 1, here's the reality nobody talks about when buying emergency solar generators. Most people buy the wrong size. They either overspend on giant systems they barely use, or buy tiny generators that collapse the moment real emergencies happen. The best generator isn't automatically the biggest or most expensive. It's the one matching actual usage. For apartment living, compact portability matters more than raw capacity. For hurricane zones, recharge speed becomes critical. For multi-day blackouts, expandable battery systems suddenly matter way more than flashy displays or smartphone apps. And honestly, some expensive generators still fail basic reliability tests under continuous appliance loads. Marketing numbers don't always match real-world performance. That's why the final pick stands out so much, because it manages to combine strong output, long battery lifespan, practical features, and emergency versatility without becoming absurdly oversized or overpriced. And taking the number 1 spot is the Blavor Portable Power Station 1600 watts. This thing surprised me. At first glance, it doesn't carry the same massive brand recognition as Jackery, EcoFlow, or Anker. But feature for feature, it competes shockingly well. The 1600 watt continuous output instantly gives it an advantage over many compact competitors. Hair dryers, coffee makers, induction cooktops, power tools, appliances that trip smaller generators become manageable here. And the built-in solar panel is genuinely unique. No, it won't rapidly recharge the entire battery by itself. But during long-term storage or emergency situations, having passive charging built directly into the unit becomes incredibly useful. That extra redundancy matters more than people think. The 1024 watt-hour LiFePO4 battery also delivers the long-term durability buyers should demand in 2026. Over 3,000 cycles means this generator can realistically remain useful for a decade. Another huge advantage is USB-C power delivery. Modern laptops, tablets, drones, cameras, and workstations can run directly from the USB-C ports without wasting energy through AC conversion. Now, there are compromises. Brand support isn't as extensive as larger competitors. And despite the compact footprint, it's still fairly heavy. But when balancing power output, innovation, safety, emergency practicality, and overall value, the Blavor earns the top spot. For final recommendations, the best overall emergency solar generator is the Blavor Portable Power Station 1600 watts because it delivers the strongest balance of performance, versatility, and practical emergency features. The best premium choice is the Bluetti Elite 300 for buyers needing serious long-term backup capacity without sacrificing portability. The best budget-friendly option is the LiPower Portable Power Station because it delivers outstanding reliability and battery longevity at a much lower price point. And for users wanting the simplest plug-and-play experience possible, the Jackery 1000 V2 remains incredibly hard to beat. No matter which generator stands out most, one thing is clear. Waiting until the next blackout is already too late. Prices spike fast during emergencies, and the best models disappear quickly once major storms hit. So if any of these generators fit the setup you're building, check the links in the description for updated pricing and availability before stock starts disappearing again.